Hi, everybody. Welcome back. How did your first project for the Hello Pumpkin go? Leave a comment if you'd like, because I would love to see pictures, and maybe you tried different colors, different felts. We'd love to see it. But you got to be ready for part 2. So get your instruction books out and let's get our supplies together and let's stitch something. So we have our stabilizer, and you're probably wondering, why is this little piece here? Well, we don't need the leaf anymore, but we do need that little piece that you had cut out from earlier. So we're going to take our blue fabric and our orange fabric, and we're going to layer it like that. And that's so when we get to the part where we put the pumpkin together, we're not going to get this confused with anything. So that one's ready. And you also have your batting. And then you have your back of your jar wrapper fabric. But there is another piece, and that is the front part. This is the part we're going to be stitching on. But we need to iron on our fusible backing to this piece only. So I'm just going to take it, put it upside down, and take my fusible backing, and I'm going to make sure that I put the glue part facing the fabric. Almost put that on upside down. And I'm just going to iron that right on there. Now all these stabilizers, her batting, all those things are available on our website to purchase. We ship all over Canada. So that piece is ready. That is ready. And you'll see later what that piece is for. You have your little piece of flexi foam. And then you have your 3 pieces of pumpkin. But we are going to start very first off doing our ribbon for our jar wrapper. So if you open your kit, you're going to find a package of ribbon. Now this package is for the bonus CD projects. So if you have spent $100, you're going to be able to use these ribbons on the bonus CD. But we are going to play with this one. So you're going to take your ribbon, you're going to fold it in half, and you're going to cut it. Just like that. So then we're going to take that and put that to the side. And I have hooped my sticky back wash away, and it's paper up. Let me get my cactus, because you're going to need a pin, and you're just going to take it and you're going to score an X, and then you're just going to run that pin right around the outside of your hoop. And we're going to take the pin and we're just going to separate the paper, if it will let me. From the wash away stabilizer underneath. So if you're doing this for the first time, it does feel very strange. But I want you to feel good about this, because we are doing it exactly like we're supposed to. We need the sticky to put our ribbon on there. That sticky stabilizer is going to hold our ribbon so we don't have to pin it. So we don't need the cactus anymore. And then we have our thread. So that's the Dijon, Tide Water, Spice Brown, Linen, Soldier Green, and Marmalade. But we are going to start our project with the light burgundy. But you are going to have to wind a bobbin into your machine of the light burgundy. And that is because we want to stitch right on our ribbon and we want both sides to be beautiful. So you go do that. And I'm going to set up the camera to be facing the machine and we're going to start stitching. So I'm going to be working on the beautiful Epic 3 from Husqvarna VIKING. And if you're looking to purchase this machine, just reach out to us. I'm pretty sure we can give you guys a pretty good deal. And USB. And we want events. VP3. And if you look closely, it's the little ribbons that you see there that we want. And when we are all done playing with our settings, we just say stitch out. And we do want automatic thread cut and automatic jump stitch trim. And we say apply. And yes, that is the hoop we are using. So we are all set. I'm going to load my bobbin. So you have your stabilizer. I hope you've put a new needle in. My favorite needle to use for this project is our Spetz Chrome Microtex 8012. So we're just going to stitch right on top of our stabilizer. That is exactly what you want to see. So what you want to do is you want to take your ribbon and put it right inside of your box that you have stitched out. And do you see why it was so important that we use the sticky back wash away? That way we can stitch right on there. And we don't have anything to worry about. The Epic stitches so beautifully. Okay, so the stitching part is done. Now we are just going to take it out of our hoop and we are going to hoop our stabilizer one more time. And I'll be right back. Okay, so you have your ribbon in your stabilizer. You have re-hooped your sticky back stabilizer. You don't have to do anything on your screen. You're just going to leave that. The only thing we're going to do is we are just going to go ahead and we are going to stitch right on top exactly like we did before. Okay, I want you to see what you are looking at right now. So you can see the stitching that we did. It's exactly the same as the first time. And we have our ribbon that we have stitched. And you're just going to take your scissors and being very careful not to cut your ribbon. Ribbon and pull them out of the way right to where that bottom box stitched out on your stabilizer is. So this is what we have now. So you notice how the design ended right there. We're going to take that and line it up with that line right there. And we're just going to stick that down. Same thing with your other ribbon. That's what you should be seeing. And then all you have to do is just take it, put it back on the machine. We're just going to take it and we're going to put it right back on the machine. And we're just going to press start. And you know what? We're just going to let the Epic do its thing. It's going to take care of us. It's going to stitch that out for us. That's it for our ribbons. That's it. We are going to take them out of the hoop and we are going to trim them up. And then I'm going to see you guys back here in just a second. There are our ribbons. You could go and do one more. I'm not gonna. I am just gonna trim them out and move on to the next step. Look at that beautiful stitching. So there you've done it. So the next thing we're going to do is we are just going to give the ribbon a small ironing. And for that, I need my pressing cloth. So I have my iron. I am just going to put my pressing cloth over top. And you know what? I can confidently say I would be proud to show this to anyone or even give as a gift because that's beautiful. So there is another step to this whole process. And to get to step 2, you're going to need to re-hoop. This time you're going wash away, and it is only wash away, it is not sticky. So we're just going to take that to our hoop and we are going to re-hoop it. Make sure you are nice and taut in there because we are going to be taking this hoop out of the machine several times to do some trimming. Lots of thread changes, but we are also going to be stitching on the back of the hoop and the front. So we really want to make sure that we are not accidentally going to pop our project out of the hoop. So let's go to the machine and get our design. So we go to File, USB. We're going to pick our jar wrapper 5x7, and then we are going to stitch that out. Now with Husqvarna, it always asks you to confirm what you would like. You have to remember, Husqvarna machines, they make you the boss, which means they work for you. So don't forget to get in there and tell it what to do. So we're all set up and we are still just going to press play and let the Husqvarna machine do all the work. It's going to make a good sized jar wrapper. So once you've gotten to that point, get out your Kimberbell tape dispenser and your batting from your little kit. And we are just going to tape that down, and then we are just going to stitch the exact same thing right on top. So that's what you have so far. And we're just going to take this shape and we're just going to remove our tape and take your scissors, hopefully ones with a nice sharp point, because we do need to cut this out, but try not to cut your string. String, silly me. Thread. You know, I always think it's absolutely amazing when we have a class, especially if there's new people in the class and it's their first time experiencing Kimberbell and they see how easy it comes together, how easy it is to do, but how gorgeous it turns out. I have loved every single one of Kimberbell's projects, and her events, they are designed for you to make friends. You can leave feeling confident that you can remake all these projects again. So this next part, you're going to need your tape, just a piece, and you're going to need your ribbon. And there is a right and a wrong side to your ribbon. And you'll be able to tell. And we're just going to place it right with the end inside that box that got stitched out on each side. And you're just going to tape that down. Because we don't have to take this to the sewing machine, the embroidery machine is going to do it for us. So just make sure that you got your placement in and you should be good. So how do we keep our ribbons from getting under our hoop or under our needle? So you're just going to take them, and I just tape them right to my hoop. And you can see they're like little ears that stick out the side. But that's going to keep it so nothing can happen to it. So all we have to do is just press start. So this next part, you're going to need your wash away topper. And this is it here. It feels like really thin plastic, but this is actually what's going to protect our project from getting sewn in there, tangled in there, anything like that. I am a little bit close with mine, so I'm just going to move it over just a bit. Because this step is important for several different layering reasons that are coming up later. So just trust me on this. Put it on there. And then we are just going to stitch it again. So your next step, it's just your flexi foam. You're just going to put it right under there to cover everything. I'm just going to put a little piece of tape on each corner to make sure it can't shift. And then we just press start. So this next step requires us to cut it out. So I'll be right back and we'll get that trimmed. If you need to see how close you need to trim, that close. I see a spot I need to fix. I left a little extra. But don't trim your wash away, just your flexi foam. Nothing to do now but press start. So do you remember that piece that we had that has the iron on? Well, that's the piece that you need now. And you're going to have to put it on there where it covers your whole project. You see the bottom, right? And you see the top kind of peeking out there. We want to be about a half an inch everywhere. And there is layers, so if you need to use your fingers and kind of feel where that is, see, you can kind of see and feel. That's exactly what you want. So we're just gonna put a little tape down to keep it from shifting. I am gonna change my thread before I continue to my linen. I am having such a great time. I hope you guys are having a great time. Fall is just around the corner. I am very excited for it. I have had enough barbecue. I am ready for squash and that roasted tomato soup and fresh bread. And you know, this jar topper is a perfect thing to put on a jar if you're going to go visit somebody. Maybe do a dry soup mix inside of a jar and give it to them as a gift. We are going to be changing our thread to our soldier green, and we're just going to stitch these tiny little leaves are going to go on here. Our focus now is all about the details on the jar wrappers, so that's where we're taking our focus now. So do you remember that little piece from your leaf that we did in our last project? Well, you're actually just going to take that and you're going to cut a little piece off because they have to cover those little spots that it stitched out there. They're so tiny. So just take your scissors and trim them. Now remember, they are not a finished edge, so you have to leave some felt. Okay, we are ready for the next step. So you know that little piece of yellow fabric you have in there? Well, that piece is what we are wondering, where should we place it? So it's going to stitch a little placement spot so we know. And you're just going to take it in that tiny little spot is what we are stitching down. I left my green in there on purpose. So let's go trim that. You can see I trimmed really close, but not enough where anything is going to come apart. I have changed my thread to marmalade, and we're just going to stitch that beautiful detail. So I have changed my thread to the Tidewater. And we are just going to do a decorative stitch of the blue leaves. Okay, so the blue leaves are done. I changed my thread to white. And if you're following along in the book, we are going to be doing a step number 30. Her instructions are really great. They're very easy to follow. So there's nothing to do here except press start. And that's because it's going to show us where to place our orange fabric with the little white flowers. So just take your orange fabric, lay it right over, change your thread to orange, and just press start. So I'm going to show the trimming in this one, but when we do the blue and the orange again, I'm not going to show it. I'm going to count on you guys to pause the video and trim in between. So I'm close. So that way the decorative stitches are going to cover the edge, because it's going to do a decorative stitch every time we change our fabrics. So let's put this back in the machine and stitch some more. Look how great that's looking. So you're going to change your thread to Tidewater, and we're going to stitch where the blue fabric goes. This is your blue fabric, and that's what it's stitching, exactly where this needs to lay. So just take your blue piece of fabric, place it on there, and just press start. Okay, trim it out. Good job trimming. The only thing you have to do now is you have to press start. So change your thread to orange, and we are going to do our placement line for our last piece. And you just cover and press start. So how close should you trim it? Nice and close, of course. So now what we're going to do is we are just going to press start. And with our marmalade thread in there, we are just going to let it stitch out. So change your thread to that spice brown because it is time to stitch the pumpkin stem. And the stem is stitched all with thread, so that's all you have to do is just let it stitch. Wow, would you look at the curly on the pumpkin? Are you liking how your project is turning out? So we are just about done, so just stay with me just a little longer. I've put light burgundy into the machine and we are just going to press start to stitch those cute little flowers all around it. So we are just about done. We are going to take this hoop, we're going to put it in front of us. So now we need to take our hoop, turn it over to the back. And we're going to take our last piece of fabric, right side up, and we're just going to place it, covering everything evenly. It's nice that you can kind of see through the fabric on where you need to cover it, but you are first going to make sure every corner is secure. We don't want any tears from somebody that didn't tape their corners and it folded over on them. I find anytime you're putting something in the back of a hoop, it's absolutely crucial. Use the tape. And that's it. Now we're going to put it back in the machine and we're going to stitch that last little part. Okay, we are just going to press start and we're going to stitch that last little bit. So this is how far we've gotten. So the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to take our tape off. Take your scissors and we are going to trim all the way around. Now, I don't want you to cut your stabilizer. It's very important. You see, there's the backing. My stabilizer is still there. And when you get to your ribbon, remember that plastic we put over top? That's going to keep our scissors from catching our ribbon. So just trim carefully. Do not cut your ribbons off. It's looking good. Now take it, turn it over, and take all your tape off. And hopefully you turned your project over and your corner was not caught under anything. I hope everybody out there is having a great experience. And again, we're going to cut just the fabric. We're not going to cut the stabilizer. No. Yes. So you're going to take this part and you're just going to put it back in the machine. So we have our marmalade in, and what we're going to do is we're just going to do a satin stitch all the way around. So you just have to press start. How are you feeling about what you've just made? We did it. It is done. We had that final song at the end that says it is safe to pop it out of the hoop. There is no going back now. I have taken it out. Just pulling away that clear wash away topper. I did such a great job taping. It's taking me a little bit to get it all off. And you're going to take it and yes, be very careful that you know where your ribbons are because you have to cut away the wash away. Now, don't get fussy and try to get close to your string, your thread. I don't know why I keep calling it string today. So that way you don't accidentally nick your satin stitch because that will come undone. This is a wash away, so if you get it wet, that stabilizer around the outside is just going to disappear. But look at that! Isn't that stunning? I absolutely love how it turned out. Even the back, it's very clean with that last little bit on there. But you have officially, look at all the things that you have accomplished today officially. You have stitched on ribbon. You have done your layering, your satin stitch, your trimming. You worked with flexi foam, you worked with batting, and you ended up with a beautiful jar wrap. Thank you so much for watching, and we have one more class to do. So let me clean up, set up another machine, and then we're going to stitch that out. And again, if you love the Epic 3, reach out to me. I am Anna, and I am very happy to help you purchase your embroidery machine. So you can join us for the Christmas class that's coming. Yes, it's going to be great. And next year, also the mystery quilt. If you watched Kimberbell Day, it's going to be a Christmas mystery quilt. And there is so many things that we do all the time with our embroidery machines. You are going to want one, and you are going to want one with a big hoop. All right, I'm going to say see you in a little bit.